So what I was thinking about today was about how we do Dharma meditations often, and how much I learn when they don't go according to the outline, when they don't go right, and when I run into difficulties with them, and I think that's when I actually learn the most. And so I wanted to just share a little bit about that, because I think it happens quite often to people, and I don't know, maybe I haven't been taught about this, but I've definitely learned about it. I think what I was taught was that when you do the meditations, you're supposed to have this conclusion, and if your conclusion, or what Venerable Chuni is calling your decision from doing the meditation, matches what the meditation is purporting, then everything's fine. But if it doesn't, then you should look at it some more, ask questions, things like that. So I think that basically makes sense. I think that what I've learned from when the meditations, when I'm really having difficulty with them, and I'm thinking now of ones that I've done commonly many times that have helped me a lot, when they don't go well, it's really so interesting then to kind of look at what is happening in my mind at that time. And it's usually when I really start to learn things like sometimes different approaches, or different wording. I need to think about things in a different way. Also, I don't know how exactly I say this. I think sometimes I've just run into the problem of thinking that the meditation, like sometimes say if you're doing the meditation of the kindness of others, for example, and you can't feel any kindness towards somebody, that happens. And so then, you recognize, I'm angry, and that's helpful, and it's very good to recognize that and work with that. But then another thing I found that has come up that actually Venerable Children has helped me with is that sometimes what I'm doing in the meditation is I'm trying to move from the place of what's going on in my mind, what am I thinking, what are my attitudes, to what am I going to do. And they're really kind of different things, and the meditation isn't really set up to tell you what you're supposed to do. That one is one where you're supposed to try to evoke a feeling of kindness and connection and caring for other people. It doesn't mean you need to know how you're going to even interact with them when you run into the person. And I think that's where things get problematic sometimes, when you have a long relationship with somebody. Maybe in family this comes up more, there are complicated relationships that go on for years. And so you do that meditation like, I don't feel kindness toward that person, they're blah, 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 blah. But what stops you from getting further is like you can't figure out, well, what am I going to do? How would I interact? This person and da-da-da-da. But actually, really, the beauty of that meditation is to know that you just set all that aside. You're not trying to figure out what to do at all. You're just trying to work with your own mind to change your own internal experience so that you can actually come to a place where you can even think about what you might do. Because you have to kind of set the groundwork for that in terms of what kind of attitude do I want to bring in to my activities, because the mind leads the speech and the actions. And so I think that's where sometimes I have gotten hung up in that meditation, and I don't always think about that. So I think it's helpful to share these kind of things, and hopefully some other people will too.